Congressman Michael McCaul joins us this morning. Hey, Congressman, nice to have you with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you. You voted against the Mitch McConnell deal. Looks pretty smart.
It was not the McCall deal.
Yeah, the other McConnell deal.
Yeah.
And did you know at the time that this piece of legislation actually turned the debt limit over to the President of the United States?
You know, since that time I have, and this is basically a blank check, a clean CR, clean debt limit, raising the debt limit without anything in return. Mm-hmm. And we were always told, look, we may have to get to the point we raise the debt ceiling, but we're going to get all this entitlement reform, Obamacare reined in. And, Ed, we got nothing in return for raising the debt ceiling. And that's why, I said, look, guys, and the speaker, came down pretty hard on me. I said, look, I can't go back to my district and justify raising the debt ceiling without anything in return. And so that's why I voted no on this.
And you should have, and thank you for doing so. But it turns out in the last couple of days of analysis of this bill, the bill that's now law, passed by both House and Senate, again, the Texas Republicans voted against it, both House and Senate, but this bill turns the control of the debt ceiling over to the President of the United States through February the 7th, 2013, at his total control. You can pass a resolution to deny him his increases, but he can veto it, and you'd have to have a two-thirds majority to overrule it.
That's right.
And
that's the situation we're in. That's why this is such a terrible vote, and it's why I voted no. And it's turning over, the keys of the cash register to this guy, and we've seen his record of spending.
Yeah.
And what I'm just concerned about is that, again, we talk so much about, sequestration and discretionary spending, which is a quarter of the budget pie. But we're doing nothing about the largest driver of spending, that's mandatory entitlements. Now throw Obamacare in as an additional entitlement now. And that's another $10 billion over 10 years. I mean, this is, or trillion, I should say.
Yeah, 10 trillion.
I mean, it's just, the numbers get kind of messed up there. But, it is absolutely disgraceful that we cannot take on these problems. Now, the super committee that will be formed, we saw how much good they did last time. And I don't think that Senator Patty Murray is going to be negotiating in good faith at the table to try to tackle this mandatory discretion, which, by the way, Ed, you and I are pro-military. Mm-hmm. I believe that's the number one goal under the Constitution. And yet it's getting squeezed every day because of our inability to address entitlements. So our military, our national security is really on the altar, sacrificed in the name of entitlements and spending, mandatory spending.
Through the shutdown process, Congressman Michael McCaul joins us this morning. You were supportive of Ted Cruz, as were all of our Texas congressmen. But what did the headlines are, the national media would tell you that we lost this battle. We didn't get anything in return from it. Did we expose the corruption of the Democratic Party and the federal government, the out-of-control spending? Is the American public more aware of it?
Well, and the one thing, I'll tell you, Ted standing up on the Senate floor, almost like a House member would, and kind of stirring it up, if you will, mm-hmm. was the best thing to draw attention to a failed policy and a failed law. And so what he did was he put a big, spotlight on this thing. Now, we've been doing that a lot in the House, but sometimes they pay more attention to the Senate, and it's almost unheard of to have a senator, raising hell, if you will, on the Senate floor. And that is the service I think he provided, was to draw this bright light. But did we win? No. I mean, at the end of the day, this thing passed, House and Senate signed law by the president, and we got nothing in return for raising the debt ceiling. So, in the final analysis, I do think the American people know more about Obamacare. I think the more you and I've talked about that it's implemented, the more they're going to see what a disaster, it is, how it doesn't even work on the website. It's a government forcing you to buy a product you don't want and then taxing you if you refuse to as a penalty. And so this will be the downfall, I think, in the next election, presidential, for the Democratic nominee.
The Democrats now own the debt ceiling. They now own the spending. They own the fallout from the government shutdown, and they own Obamacare. And as you pointed out, the website has been less than functional. The president now is going to come out today and say that he's frustrated with it, that he's somehow above all this, and he's calling in all the experts. At this time, though, you still have to go on the website and buy your own insurance as a congressman from healthcare.gov. Have you been successful yet?
No. I have.
You're about to be uninsured. You're about to be one of the 30 million that's uninsured. Well, congratulations.
Well, and that OPM, this agency out there under Obama's control, exempted not only members of Congress, but himself and his administration, his political appointees. As you know, I filed the amendment to change that so that we're all subject to the same laws and that all Americans are subject to. And, Harry Reid did not like that. And he struck down the Vitter Amendment. He struck down, it was really McCaul-Vitter Amendment. He struck that down because, it's so great, but he doesn't want to be subjected to it. And, Ed, what we should be talking about is where is this president? Where is this president when it comes to signing up for Obamacare? His crowning achievement, it's so great, he has yet to sign up for it himself. And, I think good conservatives like us should be talking about this and hammering this issue every day. Why hasn't this president signed up for his own health care?
He should be policy number one, customer number one. They should have rolled this out in the Rose Garden with him signing up right there and pulling out his credit card, giving the number and buying the policy right there. The
very first day it was rolled out, you would think, again, it's so great, he would have a Rose Garden ceremony. Here, I'm the first customer to sign up for Obamacare. You know what? It's been rolled out for over a month now, I think, and he has not signed up for his own health care law. That says a lot. And it's a hypocrisy that people like you, Ed, with a blowhorn on the radio, can get this message out.
Well, I think people are beginning to figure this out because, again, the clock's running out here. They've got to be signed up by December the 15th in order to have these health care coverages as of January the 1st. And if they don't have health care coverage by January the 1st, the individual mandate kicks in and the fines begin.
That's
and
right.
The website still may not be functional.
The individual mandate. So he exempts big businesses, corporations, unions, special favors he's given out. But who's subjected to this law? All Americans, individually. And we'll exempt members of Congress and the president and his political appointees and cabinet. This is why when I come home, people are so angry. I mean, they've had it with this kind of hypocrisy in Washington. Frankly, I have too. I mean, that's why I voted no. I'll continue to vote against this stuff as long as I'm in that office. It's just wrong. And I don't see how they can sleep at night with a conscience doing this. I don't see, as you talked about last time on your show, I don't see a lot of Democrats jumping up and down about how excited they are to get on the exchanges. Well, they don't have to because they're exempted, right?
Yeah.
But it is, I don't see how you, in your right mind, can sell this to the American people. But it's law. And we only finally get around this when we can repeal it. And that's going to be taken back to the Senate and the White House and be done with this monster once and for all.
Well, the Obamacare rollout continues. The president today will have a press conference in the Rose Garden and have some people who are actually allegedly bought policies to stand there and be look, we have some. We've sold some of these.
But what about him?
He's not one of them. His administration isn't one of them. His director of the IRS doesn't want anything to do with it. Sebelius won't even testify before Congress. She didn't appear to be a benefactor of one of these policies either.
And Ed, can I just end on this note?
Please.
My sympathies to your niece.
Thanks.
And the family, and we're praying for you.
Well, a sweet little family in Denver, Colorado. A father that wakes up this morning with two little kids to raise and doesn't have his wife to do it with him. That's the real life deal. That's the concerns I have for this country to move forward. We look at health care, something to preserve our families. These guys, the other side's looking at it as a political issue. We've got to continue to straighten this out. Congressman Michael McCaul joining us from Washington, D.C. Thank you, sir. You have a great day. 7:40.